Good afternoon, Muskegon.
Good afternoon, Muskegon.
I'm Chauncey Williams.
And I'm Tony Williams.
And this is What Do I Do Now? Your guide to credit, debt, and planning for your financial success with 103.7 The Beat.
The countdown is on, man. A couple more weeks.
Football.
School is in.
Yep, football.
Football is in.
Man.
And I was listening to the radio coming in, and they was kind of doing a little bit of a overview of the OK Black.
Okay.
And they said that the Big Reds are still the team to beat, but the Mona Shore Sailors, they say, gonna have a say in that.
All right.
So I said, okay, let's hype this thing up then.
Yeah,
all right.
Try to build them up.
Because
your best.
They got some people they need to get by that they didn't get by last year. Okay, they got caught by Reese Puffer.
That's right.
I think
somebody else.
Zealand West beat them.
Yes, they did.
So the table is set because their first three games, man, are tough. They play in the University of Michigan, Canton, and then they play again.
Canton's good.
Yes, they are. They are a very good football team, man. They're always in the playoffs over there on that side of the state. And then they got Rockford. For their first three games are going to determine where they end up because you can't lose those three games and hope to make the playoffs. Not going to happen.
No, you can't.
It's going to be very interesting. October 17th, I believe, is the Mona Shores Muskegon game. October 17th. And, of course, it is a road game for us, but that's okay. Just across town.
That's around the neighborhood.
Yeah. Just make sure they have plenty of seats for us because we're gonna fill it up.
Yes, we are. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so we're excited about that, of course, and
keeping it on,
weeks, man.
Keeping it on football. Professionally, we got Kaepernick still hasn't found a place, a home.
Still looking for employment.
Man.
Is that something, man?
Yeah. But just recently, you got Marshawn Lynch and I think Michael Bennett. Is that correct?
Michael Bennett, yeah.
They sit down.
Okay.
They sit out the national anthem.
And they said they've always done that. Okay?
Especially Marshawn Lynch. Yeah.
But there was never really an issue made of it. And I think he is starting to get support from players in the league. I listen to a lot of the sports talk shows, and they're really coming to terms that this is not right what we're doing to this guy.
Yeah,
okay? And the owners of the league really need to take a hard, fast look at how they're treating this kid.
Man, yes, they are, because he's a good quarterback, and
you know what? When you take a look at what happened this past weekend
in Charlottesville, right?
In Charlottesville, which is on the campus of the University of Virginia.
The guy rode a Challenger or a Charger through the crowd.
Challenger, one of those two.
Hit 19 people, killed one.
All righty. And the purpose of that rally was to show that this country still got issues. Okay? And that's what Kaepernick was saying. We have issues.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And what I'm doing is to hopefully bring discussion about these issues. But yet, that event this weekend really created an environment of hatred, because on the news yesterday, somebody had hung a flag with a Nazi symbol on it over one of the overpasses. There's been other events that has taken place across this country that shows these white supremacists are very bold and brazen now. And unfortunately, here in Muskegon, we've had to endure a couple events in the last couple of days. And I know for a fact, as well as you,
yes, sir,
the environment of this community is not as divided as one might think.
No, it's not at all.
Contrary to popular belief, the city of Muskegon, from a racial standpoint, there's harmony. Friday nights at Hackley Stadium, you see it. During the basketball season, you see it. People come out and support these kids. So what I think is happening is these groups are trying to bring fear and division
That's right.
to the community by displaying these nooses and defacing and using the negative graffiti on statues of people that are founders.
That's right. Founders. When you say founders,
city.
I got an article right here. I was like, when I saw that, when they defaced Charles Hackley, I'm into what he has done to the structure of this city. and how he built it and how he needed the help of the minority to come in and help. And I got this booklet. I got it from Brian Chapman, and he's a tourism major at Michigan State University and an Army veteran. And he had, before watching Muskegon go and all this and everything, he was part of the centennial of Muskegon. You know, the 100-year, the 200-year. He was part of that, you know. And he made this book. He got this big old book with all this research in it. And on front of it, he made me an excerpt because he was like, you need this because you're doing the work in the community that's connected to a lot of things you're going to notice. And you need to study Charles Hackley's work. Because Charles Hackley's work was about diversity.
Yeah.
So on this article that I have, Muskegon, Michigan, 1890, 21 large factories secured in the last 18 months.
21.
So what kind of effort is that?
And that means there's a lot of people that you need to operate 21 factories.
Communities.
Okay.
Like, go 1890, we talking about slavery ended probably 30 years, 20, 30 years. You got a large population of African Americans migrating to Muskegon just for this basic reason.
That's right.
But Charles Hackley is one of the founders that accepted that population coming in. I know you had expanded on talking about how certain homes were set up for those people to live in.
Yes, they were. They were company homes that people would live in when they came up here to work.
So they were accepted. So they were accepted in certain environments and communities.
Yeah.
So Charles made that happen for them.
That's what he did. He built those homes.
So by the defacing of his statue, that was significant to say, hey, the N-word is not allowed in this community.
Right.
But so they defaced the statue of the men and say, come one, come all.
That's right.
I want you to be here. I need your efforts to help build this city.
Yep.
So that's why I seen there's something symbolic, like we're going to attack the men that started all this diversity stuff.
Absolutely. Because his legacy is still strong today.
Yeah.
Because every time you walk into Hackley Stadium, okay.
Yeah. Or when you look at the house has symbols. You know, we've been to
Right.
Ghana, right?
Oh, yeah.
The house has symbols of African Moors.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
And there's information that said he had an African American barber.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Now, when you talk about a barber, you know what a barber does, especially when it comes to old school, pull your teeth, do your taxes, right?
A barber, okay.
A real old school barber.
Right.
But what I've noticed is when you have, a lot of people have barbers. My barber is like is a mentor to me and certain resources I need.
Oh, yeah.
So Charles Hackley had an African American barber. When you look at that house, it has symbols that are symbolic to Africa. If you go into Angel School, that's currently the MCEC.
Okay. Yep.
In the hallway, they have these tribal
symbols
throughout on the wall. So I took pictures of them and sent them back to our friends in Ghana. And I say, "What's this?"
Wow.
They was like, he's like, "Hold on, let me try my tribal mother and father." So he sent it out to them. They say, "Is somebody trying to start a new tribe in Muskegon or something?"
Oh, really?
They say it don't have no significance. Say it has significance in Africa, but it doesn't mean a particular thing in Africa. But it does something when someone's trying to build a structure.
Okay.
And I was like, "Wow."
It's deep.
But that building Angel, if you look on side, it's like these gold little crowns.
Oh.
All these symbolic things around that building.
Man, most of these schools, I mean, the newest school system building is, Oakview maybe?
Yes, we the newest. That's it.
Yeah.
But Angel, if you look at it, if you take a look at it again, there's symbols that are that's Afrocentric.
Okay. And probably over in Freble, because that's an old school, it probably has the same design because they all were designed. I would think the same architect probably designed all these from the middle school, the non-middle school over at Bunker, like you said, all the various elementary schools, as well as the high school.
You're exactly right.
You know,
It's just it's amazing that to know that the person that defaced that statue, they knew something in the history of Charles.
Evidently.
Yes, they did.
Evidently. But I think this community is a lot bigger and stronger than this one or two individuals that are trying to, again, I think, divide this community, bring fear to this community by using the school systems, okay? There are a lot of other places they could have went in order to deface and hang nooses, but they've chosen the school system because that's where 90% of our kids go to get an education.
Let me share something with you. Like when you said 90% of our kids go to get an education. When they say Lakeside, is that Glenside or Lakeside, right?
Glenside, yeah.
That community, that's where
Glenside.
I do the beach workout at every Saturday, right?
Okay.
Now I can go to Jackson Hill, I can go somewhere else, but something happened to me in 2000, probably like 2011, I believe. It was about 2010, where I was out there with a group of kids and I was threatened by that community.
Really?
Yes, I was threatened while I was working out. To this day, I still go out there. They don't say nothing to me no more because they know who I am and what I do for a living.
Okay.
So I was threatened. And I remember I had my nephew out there. I had Tommy D, Bell's bondsman's son, with me. I had my niece and a couple other kids that we train. You know, I do that all the time.
Yeah, running them hills, okay?
One of those hills, right? So I was approached by some individuals that had some dogs with them that was loose in the park. So automatic dogs are supposed to be loose. Mm-hmm. And they said, "What are you doing out here?" I was like, "What do you mean I'm doing? It's a public place.
Okay.
I have a right." "Well, you on this hill, you on this and this and that." I'm like, "Well, it's be kids up here all the time. They be getting," from what I look at, I see beer bottles up here. Like, they not doing it during the daytime.
Right.
I see all type of things. And I'm not trying to point no finger at anyone or anything.
This is just a true story, man.
It's a true story. And it got to the point where I had to go to the NAACP in our community and report it. And the people that are part of that park, keeping it clean, they apologized to me. The pastor from the church brought me into his home, sat down, me and my wife, and they had a barbecue for the kids. And, you know, they did something for the kids to let us know that it wasn't them that was trying to be like that. But it was some people that lived in the community that approached me.
That minority element that think they speak for the entire community.
That's it. And they didn't. And I found out some nice people out there, and they still supportive to me today. We were even run our Fresh Start picnic out there.
Okay.
We were doing and I told us that's why I wanted to be at. I want to show the whole community, this community that's diversity is coming to their neighborhood.
Okay. So
they're supportive of that now. So that relationship has grown, but I was treated as if my skin was saying I was guilty. I remember I was even told they was going to call the police on me.
Great. Call
them. I said, call them. And they called and the police circled out there. I said, they can't do anything to me because, for one, I know I don't have no history of doing anything wrong.
You ain't breaking no laws.
But I'm not breaking no laws. So the kids was kind of nervous, like, the police coming. I said, no, they're not. They're going to do a circle and leave. Because if I would have moved like I was a criminal or a felon, they were intercepted. Yeah, they would have had reasonable cause. So I'll say, okay. But that's my experience of being in Muskegon. That's one of them. And it hurts deep at times, but I know where I'm at, but I also know I look for the good in it.
Right.
Tony. I look for the good in my community and the people that support and help. And the kids that look to me, that don't look like me, but they have a good character and they don't judge me by my race. I look for that all the time.
Because you could have taken the other route, and like we're speaking today, of fear, and said, okay, I'm not going back because I'm afraid of what they might do to me. You said, no, it's not going to go down that way. I'm going to go and make a report, get support, and we're going back. As a result of that, the people that you came across after that event were really the people that made up that community, okay? And that's what it's all about. You cannot go through life being afraid of confrontation.
That's
You have to confront issues that are wrong, okay? And if there's anything that, behind these couple of elements that have taken place over the last couple of days, you want to change how you behave, how you think, how you live, don't do it. Because that's what they want you to do. That's the process. They want you to live in fear, change what you've been doing, because then they become the victors. Don't let that happen.
That's right. It's all right to look as a label, like with all the positive things going on in Muskegon Public, the things keep guys doing, the things that the athletic department's doing, the coaches. You look at that, and then you look at the academic piece where kids are going to college.
Yes, sir.
Athletically and academically, and how hard everybody is working. We're talking about teachers, administrative staff, principals, support staff.
Yes.
The community at large, and how they're pouring into their school, and it's this community at large. And you got people on the outside that's still trying to label people as criminals, and they don't want people to work together. They want it to be saturated in one culture, and it's not like that.
No.
When I look at our basketball team, I see many girls from different communities, and it's a great situation. When I look at the staff that I work with at Oakview, when I look at the staff at the high school, the support staff, the leadership, it's just great. So it always put me in a frame of mind, like, take the benefit of the doubt of the positive. Don't focus on the negative people. But it's also the people that don't really want to get involved and they watching change happen right in front of their face, but they're not getting to know the people. That's what's wrong.
I think, and we can put it out there. We had kids that transferred from a school that was predominantly white.
Yes.
Came to this school system.
Fit right in.
Didn't know what to expect, but after it was over, the experience that they gained, because I'm talking from what I know. These are personal conversations that I had with their family members. The way this community embraced these kids, and just the sheer fact of the diversity that we have here allowed them to be who they were, and it was like the most rewarding times of their lives as young people. And to me, that said, that's a testament to the folks like you just spoke about in the Muskegon Public School System that really works hard at making this one of the best in the state. Yeah,
so like when you look at that, like when you say, okay, the Lakeside incident with the noose hanging, and then now they're trying to deface the Charles Hackley statue. This is an excellent opportunity for us to thrive like we've been thriving.
Yep.
Because the spotlight's going to be on us even more, and that's better.
Mm-hmm.
That'll speak to what we're doing in volumes now. So,
yeah, and we hope with school on the verge of starting, that teachers, administrators, counselors implored our students not to make this a negative situation. Do not treat any other classmate or student any differently because of what has happened. Don't let animosity take over what we've accomplished up to this point, because that is a few people that does not represent this community. Yeah. Trust me.
And then, like, you probably wonder why, audience, like, why are you talking about this issue on a financial show? Well, right. The whole point of looking at the initiatives, Love Muskegon, Watch Muskegon Go, all these different organizations that's trying to form collaborations with our community Encompass, Health West, the names of how the county is coming, and then how the System of Cares is coming in. System of Cares is a structure where it's going to be collaborations between diverse communities. Right. So we're pushing hard. So you can keep on coming with the racism and the things like that, but the change is here. It's documented that it's going to happen, and that's where economic development comes in when people start working together. So if you come in with the covert racism and trying to institutionalize something and trying to think that it's going to be the good old boys' ways, that day is done. It's gone. So because you're going to stop our economic growth, and we have some of the best real estate in the country, and we have to make sure we make this profound and make sure we attract the right kind of people that want to do the right things.
And attract the businesses that are going to come here and employ people so they can have a decent standard of living and they can raise a family, support our school system, support our city, and make Muskegon go.
Yeah, make it go. So that's where it is. So that's why we're bringing that up. I know today's topic, Tony, is being a millionaire.
Oh, yeah. Everybody. That's like that show, right? There was a show once called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
That's right.
Right. Well, I think everybody would raise their hand.
Yeah, everybody would raise their hand.
But
so
there's
it says
a lot of work that goes into that.
So what I have today, it says how to make $1 million. A record number of people have reached the 7-figure milestone. And we got 5 strategies. But first I got 4 scenarios to retire a millionaire. I'm going to go over the scenarios and say time is on your side. So the first one is someone at age 25. They save $0, right? What you need to save per month before you reach age 65 at 25 is $310 a month.
That don't sound like a lot of money.
So let's look at it. So if your check, if you make, let's do an average income, somebody make $1,500 a month, and you do your bills and everything, $310 is what? $75 a week?
Yeah, 75 would be 150. So yeah, right, 75 a week.
Yep, 75 a week you'll have that at the age 25. If you say $75 a week, you'll have $1 million by the time you're 65 when you retire. It's not bad.
Not bad.
Now say if you save $16,000 right now at 25, what you need to save per month is $210.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was at. So that's the number I'm around right now with my TSA, my tax sheltered annuity. So I was around that number at 25. So when you look at that, $210 a month at 65, I'll be at that number.
It's not
that
a
was
lot
me.
Of money, man.
And a guy convinced me early to do that. I remember that when I first got my job. Got my job at 23, and he told me to do that. Now the next situation is you're like, hold up, everybody can't be 25, Chauncey, and do it. and that's right. You're totally correct. Well, what about if you're 45? I mean, what if you're 30?
You started late.
Yeah, if you're 35, so that means you have 30 years. You save $45,000, right? What you need to save per month at 35, if you save $45,000 to have $1 million, is $400 a month. So you got to have $45,000 already saved. Or, and I got some other suggestions we're going to be going over. If we can get through all of them in this show, we'll do the other one. Let's say if you got a business that's worth $45,000, and you end up selling the business or a property, real estate property or something, then you can save $400 a month. Or let's say if you have $65,000 saved, it'll take $250 a month. So it's always good to have that, because I know a lot of people want to buy that vacation home, that cabin. You know, they want to pay for their kids' education, college education. And when you're on a fixed income, you're going to have, for us like teachers, we get paid on the 1st, 15th. You got your pension check. So you can get 3 checks. You can draw 3 checks.
Okay.
Or then say if you got military experience, you draw other money.
You get you another check.
Yeah, so I've been seeing people benefit off of that. They've been enjoying retirement where they don't have to go back to work, or they can go into their own business. So that's the second scenario. The third one is if you're at 45 and you save $63,000, you need to save $1,250 per month. So that's 20 years, you'll have that $1 million if you got $63,000 saved. Now, let's say if you saved $100,000, what you need to save per month would be $960. And the last situation is age 55, you saved $117,000. You need to save $4,200 a month. Or if you save $250,000, you need to save $2,750 a month. So basically, the timetable tells you the younger you are,
the less it requires on a monthly basis to save. Okay?
Because 20 years from now, that $210 won't hurt you.
No, it won't.
You'll forget that you're doing it.
No, and you just have to make that financial decision, Chauncey.
Yes, sir.
As to whether or not you are willing to sacrifice a certain standard of living over the course of your life, so that when you retire, you can possibly maintain that same standard of living, or you have to continue to work till you die. Okay? Because if you don't plan your retirement, it's not going to be a really good retirement. That's why you see so many people that has to go back to work after they retire from their jobs, because they didn't do a very good job of planning for their retirement.
And they set themselves back, and then when they set themselves back, it's a rough situation.
Yeah, you have to do the numbers. You have to crunch the numbers, taking a look at what's my Social Security benefit will be, and that's another issue that we need to discuss. What is my current benefit level, be it through my 401 or defined pension, and you have to come up with that number on a monthly basis, which is your income, and then you have to look at what your expenses are, and that determines whether or not you can actually afford to retire. It's not complicated. It just requires discipline to stick to the plan. Once you develop it, you have to stick to it, because I know people that's in their late 60s and early 70s that they're still working because they can't afford to retire.
That is. So when you look at that, the first thing says, so it's like these are 5 tips. So it says, if you want to have $1 million by the time you want to be a millionaire, it said the first thing is live like $1 million. So you're like, hold up, what do you mean when you live like $1 million? It said, let's start with the basics. One of the biggest barriers to reaching the $1 million milestone isn't the stock market meltdown or even brief period of unemployment. It's something financial planners call lifestyle creep. Buying a bigger house or a nicer car every time you get a raise or bonus. Lifestyle creep. You don't want to do that.
No.
You want to act as if you don't have the bonus. So it says loads of studies suggest that buying more stuff won't make you happier.
Nope.
And that's the project we're getting ready to roll out. I told you I went through 2,000 scriptures.
Right. Yep.
I produced these 5 chapters. It's about 50 pages right now, and it breaks down scripture about money being the least, where the material wealth and does not add up to spiritual and human health.
Okay.
So it's like it's other things that's more important than just saying you want to upgrade a car every time or a house every time, and you find yourself refinancing a home or refinancing your car loan or buying another car just to say you got it. So that's
in taking your example, that what you're illustrating is, getting to $1 million. Maybe you don't necessarily have to get to that million. Okay, maybe 500,000 along with the other investments that you have can let you retire comfortably.
And like you said, like if you served in the military, that's a check, right?
Yeah.
If you got Social Security, if you work for the state, you got your pension. Like I'm a pension person because now I know that they don't do that no more for the
no, teachers that went away.
That went away. Okay. So I'm in the pension, so I get a pension check, Social Security check, and then I have my investments.
Right.
Then we'll still be able to sustain the business. So that's gonna take me over into my my older years.
Yep.
So when you look
golden years.
Yep. So when you look at that, you have to be able to say, what are you putting down right now? Are you deciding to get a new car every time your car get paid off?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, oh, the car's paid off, how much was that note a month? What was that note like?
I can actually invest that into an IRA.
That's right.
I can put that in an IRA for the next 5 years. Then maybe I'll get me another car after 5 years, but I want to create a little nest egg.
That's right. So here's a suggestion that my notes have. It says, one of the most effective ways to rein in spending is to dedicate a specific percentage of your paycheck to savings every month.
Yes.
So it says, studies say they recommend at least 18% of your gross paycheck. That's a big task to ask for someone starting out. So you can suggest at 4% and increasing that saving rate to 1 or 2% until you hit 18%. You can start early as the key. The sooner you start saving, the less you have to put aside each month. So when you look at that, what I've done is I've did that with my tithe starting out. I used to look at that and I said, okay, well, I can't reach this tithe of this gross yet. So I did a certain number, stuck with it. As the increases came, I got there. So now it's like on the investment end, that's the same thing. Mm-hmm. When you get there, you're like, well, and you start looking at your life like, man, we don't need to go buy these clothes. I don't really need these shoes. I don't really need this. And you start looking and you say, hold up, I have more money now.
Yes. More discretionary income.
And you have more money for emergencies, for retirement, to do the things you want to do with your life instead of throwing away on a bill.
Right. And some, like I said, we've talked about this before. Others say they don't care about tomorrow. Okay. So I guess this is not for those. But if it's for the people that really think about longevity and quality of life after work, these are the kind of tips that they should take to heart and really begin trying to put them to use. Because the worst thing you want to have happen is you get to retirement age and you can't afford to retire. I mean, think about it. Depending on the line of work you do, if you work in a factory and it requires some kind of a physical exertion, and you 64 and 65 years old, and you're working alongside of 20, 22-year-old kids, that's not going to work very long, man. Your back going out, your knees going out. You physically can't keep up at that pace.
You're right.
So you don't want to be in that situation where you can't make a choice in which to retire.
Well, Tony, I want some new furniture.
What's wrong with the furniture you got? Is it functional? Well, it's kind of old-fashioned. Well, what's old-fashioned? I don't understand what old-fashioned is. No springs are coming out of it. It's not busted up.
I sleep on everything.
It still serves a purpose. Okay?
I sleep on it. I don't care about that. All that furniture in that room you can't go in and sit in and all that.
You got to make
not around me
decisions, man. Because I talk to people and I listen to their struggles financially, and when you lay out what their expenditures are,
man,
it's like, this is ridiculous. This does not make sense. That the ledger is tilted so far to the expense side
instead of saving
versus the income side. And anytime any unexpected event comes up, it becomes a major catastrophe, because it's the old saying, now you got to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yep.
And that does not work very long.
Look, somebody called me today on the phone, and I'm going to get back to the show, but somebody called me today on the phone. Hey, you've been approved for 6% for a credit card.
Okay.
Like, oh, that ain't bad. I'm like, let me just see what they're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, how you doing today? He said, yeah, do you have $3,000 worth of credit card debt? I said, nope. I was like, no, sir. I said, I got 2 credit cards and they're not $3,000. I said, I don't try to carry no more than $300 to $500 a month, and I try to pay that off.
Right.
So I was like, he's like, oh, you're not a candidate. So I'm like, basically,
he won't talk to you.
That's right. So they're basically automating people and calling them because they know and you had the paperwork
right
a couple weeks ago that we was going to talk about. The average income household debt is about $16,000, right?
Credit card.
$16,000
in credit card debt.
So if somebody carrying $16,000 in credit card debt because they buying furniture, buying jewelry, financing a vacation, right? Renting cars. What are you really doing it for?
You're living above your means.
Man, that's the catastrophe, man.
Yeah. So, if we say that's an average, that means there are people that's got a whole lot more debt than 16. There are others that are lower than 16. But when you make that as a national average, that's a lot of debt, Chauncey. Just credit card. We're not talking about mortgage, automobile loans, student loans, things like that.
I can't imagine.
And
I can't imagine.
That can be a very disastrous situation if those numbers continue to climb, because somebody's got to pay for this debt. We talk about the national debt, which is trillions of dollars, because we borrow money as a country. We borrow money too, and I would say that the leaders of the country are not very good money managers.
Not at all. Not even smart. I mean,
I see far in debt.
I see China smart though. Like China is taking is selling us all our products, and they're buying our dollars.
Yes.
So they're not putting it. They're putting it in their economy, but they buying American money.
That's right.
They buying the American dollar and they stretch it. They making it get more bang for its buck when you buy a Chinese product.
That's right.
So the Chinese dollar is staying the same. So they're able to hire more. They're able to hire more workers and build those facilities and those camps where those people can live and make a living wage. Where they call it a living wage.
That's what they call it, but.
So they making a so-called living wage for family of 4 or wherever, and they living in these camps during the week, and then they go wherever they go after that, or they live there permanently. Because there's certain like cities like Tokyo, China, Japan, they set up strategically for camps for people to live in, but it's not a democracy there, so they can do that. So then they're buying the American dollar. So then
the government.
That's right.
The government owns
American money.
Yes, they do.
They own us by trillions. So we're becoming consumers, and they're becoming the investors, and they looking at us like, what's the next big thing Americans need? What they feel like they need? Well, they need a new car. This car with all this technology in it. You want this TV. You want this fidget spinner. I don't know. Whatever it is out there that makes you crazy.
Spend your money.
They're gonna make it for you. Over here. Sit over here, and they're gonna go to the stock market and buy the funds. They're gonna trade your funds.
Yes, sir.
Currency trading. They're going to keep on buying it.
American dollars.
That's right. Keep on buying them. So, you pay us later, pay us later, pay us later. Pretty soon, they're like, you don't have nothing. It's been a foreclosure on your country.
Right. Yeah, that's financial warfare. Okay, we saber rattling with North Korea, but China is saying, the next major event going to take place in this world is going to be a financial war. Okay, because we control trillions and trillions of dollars of your economy. That's what a war going to happen.
That's amazing. So, as people feel like they're struggling to save money, let's look at your gross, and if your company has a plan that you can save before taxes, that's it.
Get in it. Get involved in it. And if you don't understand it, they do have advisors that you can call up, or you can call me. All right?
What I've discovered is after 1 year, you could take the blow, the investment blow. If you could get through 1 year of trying to get that 18%, you'll downsize your other expenses, and you'll make it.
Yep, because you'll be looking at your statement that comes quarterly, and you'll be like, wow, that's amazing. Provided that you invested properly, you will see your money grow, and you'll become addicted to wanting to watch it grow more by contributing more.
That's right. I'm Chauncey Williams.
And I'm Tony Williams.
And this is What Do I Do Now? Your guide to credit, debt, and planning for your financial success with 103.7 The Beat.